Ha! This is so predictable.
What, the Leafs losing to Colorado?
No. Well, yeah, but no.
The Leafs being awful, and then the moment we stop believing in them, they become the best team in the National Hockey League before immediately wilting again?
No. Well, yeah, but no.
Well, dude, I don't know what you mean.
No, you're just gonna shoot the same old boring video about how you're mad.
What?
My name's Steve. I'm so upset. I do not sound like that. Let's go.
It starts with an A and ends with anxiety.
Off the charts levels of passion. That's just a nightmare.
With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Leafs lose 4-0. They spoiled the shutout. That's nice. 4-1 to the Colorado Avalanche. Producer Drew is an Avalanche fan. He was at this game, and I assume it's going to take him 4 hours to get home. So if it's late, it's his fault. Boo and hiss. I hate you, Drew. He goes to the game, and he wears his stupid My Name is Drew jersey, and he puts on his stupid My Name is Drew hat, and he takes the stupid My Name is Drew train. I hope he took the train. Otherwise, I don't know. When is he going to be home? When is he going to be home to make this video? And he's going to be talking about my team is better than yours, and he's just going to turn the knife because the last time the Leafs two teams played, the Leafs beat Colorado, and I made him type in the word Colorado. And now here we are. Here we are. But that's not the kind of video I have planned for today. It's just not. So let's get to it. But first, let me tell you about Fan Zone scoreboards. Say, are you a hardcore fan of a team? Do you like to know the score of the game that your favorite team is playing in? Because they might not let you down. Would you like to have that score displayed in your house? Well, visit fanzonescoreboards.com. It's officially branded for all 32 NHL and NFL teams. Designed for fan caves, basement bars, game rooms, your weird little toy dungeon, the garage. Each board features official team branding. It streams real-time scores straight to the display from an easy-to-use app. It can display scores for any live NHL or NFL game. There's also an option for manual scoring at home so you can keep track of your own game, whatever it is you're playing. Be the envy of all sports fans with this one-of-a-kind display. Perfect gift for the sports enthusiast in your life. You're also allowed to give yourself a gift. Score now with FanZone. www.fanzonescoreboards.com. Now, this game. We've seen this game. We talked about this with Vegas. We've talked about how we've seen this game. We're over 50 games in now. That's so many games. We've seen this exact game like 35, 40 times. I got a message from someone that was like, what, did you expect them to dominate Colorado? And my jaw dropped to the floor. Are you kidding me? It's not that it's Colorado. It's the opponent across from them, whoever it happens to be. We've seen them play this exact game, make the exact same mistakes, untold numbers of times, at least 3 dozen. So in an effort to keep things from going stale, I don't care what the weather's like outside. It's time for a little ODR. LFR.
I can't have this. I can't go stale. I can't make the same video over and over and over again. And I can't be the sad clown and talk about how much this team stinks and yell at them and demand that they get better. I think this is the Brad Treliving video. I haven't wanted to do it. Been putting it off for a long time. But it's time. It's time when it comes to this team to do something. And I yelled that and I screamed that, and then the Leafs went on a heater, and I did this funny little bit about never mind, and they have essentially not won since we did that bit. Have they won since they mocked the fans in Winnipeg, which was very funny, mind you? No. At some point you look at the standings. Leafs could finish, they could be the best team in the NHL the rest of the way out. They could. They could be the best team in the National Hockey League. It might not be enough to get them in the playoffs. Everyone keeps winning. Okay, what if they're the 5th best team? That's still extraordinarily good in a 32-team league, dude. What if they're the 10th best team? Now we're hanging on by a thread. And what if they're even middle of the pack, which they've barely been this season? You're not making it. It's not your year. It's not meant to happen. It's not you. I haven't been in these woods for months. This is where I used to walk Iggy, the victory puppy. I get out the bird app, listen to all the birds. This place is full of birds right on the water. It's awesome. There's a story I haven't told. You know, the days that follow Iggy passing, because it happened very suddenly, as it often happens with your pup. And I get a message from an Alberta number I don't recognize. And they gave me condolences on Iggy's loss, or on our loss of Iggy. And they said that they were Brad for living. I didn't believe it. I asked a friend. I asked two friends who might know. And they both confirmed, yeah, no, that's definitely Brad for living, dude. That's him. I've never met this man. I don't recall ever being in the same room as this man. I've never spoken to this man on the phone. And until that moment, I had never texted with this man. And I was just so blown away, so moved, and so touched by that gesture. Like, he doesn't know me. He had to go out of his way to do that, and that's just something a good person does. And I rooted for him. And I am rooting for him, and because of that, I'll probably always root for him. I mean, since he got the job, I've been rooting for him. That's the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, dude. If you're a Leaf fan, you're cheering for Brad for living. That's how this works right now, man. And this isn't a video saying he's got to be fired or anything like that. But they have to seriously look at what they're doing. You got to put feelings aside. I mean, the way they're defending is catastrophic. They remind me a lot. We've talked about the parallels between the 2019 and 2019-2020 Leafs. The Leafs, the year that they fired Mike Babcock, right? They were awful. They were mid-awful. They hire Sheldon Keefe. They go on this ridiculous heater, and then they go right back to mid, and they were probably on track to miss the playoffs, but we'll never really know because the season was stopped due to COVID. Is that not exactly what these guys have done? They were awful. They were mid. You could blame injuries. The Leafs had injuries that year. They got the new coach bump. Leafs sort of got that in a different way with, Mark Savard got fired, and then you bring in Steve Sullivan, right? And here they go right back to mid, and you're just hemorrhaging points that you can't afford to. And yelling and screaming about it isn't a strategy, right? We've heard similar speeches recently. Anger isn't a strategy. Sadness isn't a strategy. Grief isn't a strategy. So let's talk about it. Look at the Bruins right now. They were doorknob dead last year. And whether they make the playoffs or not this year, they got young players performing well for them. Fraser Minton. They're right in the mix. And by gum, they have the Leafs' first-round draft pick. Maybe. Unless the Leafs are a lottery team, which is crazy. But more importantly, they made a decision that nostalgia, they probably could have brought Brad Marchand back, right? They made a decision that, you know what, we got to bail here. We got to bail on not what they're doing, not on winning, but on the current strategy. They got to bail on the current path. The Leafs have to bail on this path. Who would I keep? Scott Laughton needs a new contract. I think we've all fell in love with him. Yeah, you would get a heap for him, but at some point you need players on your actual roster, and this guy would die for the blue and white. You need that. You just need that. Chief was talking about how the bench has gone quiet. Well, of all the players I would expect to be part of the solution there, part of their penalty killing future, part of the adrenaline of this team, Scott Lawton. You keep him. Nick Waugh makes $3 million per year. He's got 1 year left on his contract. If you get a really, really, really good offer for that player, you trade that player. But as my list currently sits, you keep him. Bobby McMahon! There's rumors about like 5 times 5 for this guy. And unpopular opinion, because I love Bobby McMahon. And again, it's not about loving a player. If you want to get quality in a deal, you got to trade good players. You sign him to 5 years, you're signing this guy pretty deep into his 30s. A guy whose strength is his speed. Trade him, say a swear, have a nice bedtime tea, and deal with it. Swallow your pride. That's what I would do there. Nick Robertson. He's fun. He's fun. He asked out. He's young. Someone's going to want him. Trade him. Simone Benoit. He's your 7th defenseman. But guys love defensemen like that when they're going for the playoffs, which you're not anymore. You're not. Trade him. Here's a hard one that you're not going to like. I don't like it. You don't like it. I'm the one saying it. I hate it. Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He's on a sweetheart of a contract. It's so beautiful. It is a thing of beauty. At his age, the way he has turned the clock back, there is a real risk. Very real risk. Downright likely that he is never as good as he is right now, ever again. If you want to absolutely fleece someone, if you want the potential of getting a first-round pick back or multiple seconds, kind of like Kiefer Sherwood did, an Olympian defenseman, a guy who can play both sides, a guy who can run your power play, a guy who can win a Stanley Cup, run the first unit power play for the team who won the Stanley Cup. He did that in Florida. You trade him. Again, you say your swears. And you enjoy the haul. It breaks my heart. And I don't... This is a complicated conversation. And I don't know how to solve this problem right now. But you have to start solving it now. Morgan Riley. That one hurts. That one hurts and I hate it. The D-zone stuff, we've been through the D-zone stuff. But the stuff that's not even easy to register as bad, like generating offense, but it's super low percentage, and you only have X amount of time with the puck, and you can't be wasting it on low percentage garbage. He has a full no move. Lots of guys have full no moves. You do whatever you have to do. You don't make the same mistake that you did with Mitch. You find a way. You don't trade him, but you shut Jake McCabe down for as long as it takes for him to be a good defenseman again. That was your best defenseman all year, all around. He had the most ridiculous plus-minus on the team. He was like a plus 23 when the next closest guy was like plus 8, plus 9. And now he looks unplayable. I know you're thin. What are we doing with him out there? What are we doing? Sit him. And you might say, what about the injuries? What about the injuries? Why are you trading guys? Think of all the injuries. They're injured. You don't have time here. The schedule doesn't stop. And hey, how about this? What if you trade those guys? What if you get a crazy haul? What if the players and assets that you get back are good at hockey, and then next season you have all the current injured players healthy? A rebuild doesn't have to be a death sentence of irrelevance, is what I'm saying. It can be a retool. It can be whatever you need. Don't put a title on it. It's weird. I met the love of my life when I was 19, but you people I've seen, okay, on the internet with your situationships and all these other terms that scare me, you don't got to put a title on it. It doesn't have to be a rebuild. It doesn't have to be a retool. How about it's you're not going to make the playoffs, so trade guys who make sense to trade, get stuff for them, keep that stuff, and then you can either draft good players or get good players or use the stuff that you get to trade for good players. Oh, add to the list of guys I forgot. As soon as he's healthy, Dakota Joshua. Someone's going to want that guy, unless you can sign him to a reasonable extension. A playoff-bound team is going to want a player like Dakota Joshua. Don't give me that look. You know I'm right. And Matias Michelli. Matias Michelli is a player who I think has trade value now. I hated the idea of trading him to the Bruins. If they want him, go give him to the Bruins. Charge him. Give him the Bruins. And then Matthews is still there. Nylander is still there. Nyes is still there. There's a ton of guys who are still there. Oh my goodness, imagine getting Chris Tanev back. That'd be lovely. You look at a Brandon Carlo trade too, for sure. What are we preserving? I wasn't asking the trees. What are we preserving? What is the point? Doing nothing isn't a strategy, guys. And I can't make that deal. You can't make that deal. No one is able to make that deal except the guy employed to make those deals. It's Brad Treliving. I'm not going to scream it. I'm not going to be goofy about it. He's got to do something. And as for Willie, as for Austin, who is the captain, Tavares and the other leaders on this team, there's got to be a real soul-searching conversation about why Craig Berube is talking about this bench being quiet. Because I remember that being said. Oh, the bench is quiet. The bench is too quiet. You know what I remember it being said? By Sheldon Keefe when the Leafs were missing Wayne Simmons due to injury. How many guys, just list the guys who were on that team, I think it was the Canada bubble, and they're still here. It's a short list, and most of them make the most money and wear letters. That's unacceptable for a team that wants to be taken seriously. It's crazy, and it's a horrible sign for the mentality and the culture of this team, of the biggest fan base in the world. Let's call it what it is. Now, I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but like I'm getting literally buried here, running out of sunlight. What's making it so hard to watch this team bumble the puck around and lose all the time and in spectacular fashion is there's no direction. We can handle a rebuild. We know we can because we've done it. And we were really enthusiastic about it. That team finished last place and we didn't have a negative thing to say about it. The year before, like the Leafs were horrendous for minimum 2 years. Like I'm talking bottom of the barrel for 2 years. And they were terrible before that, but they weren't absolute bottom of the barrel. They were terrible. We can handle it. What we can't handle is this purgatory where you're going to miss the playoffs by a few points with a younger, faster, more exciting divisional rival holding on to your first round pick. You got to do something, and that's face the music. It's over for this group. You swear. I don't care what you do. Other than hit the phones, decide to be a seller before most teams decide to be a seller, Get out in front of it and get the best price you possibly can for as many players as you possibly can. And then you have the off season to make sure this doesn't happen again. So my friend, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. Frustration is not a strategy. Doing something is.